Hello everyone, welcome to Merlin's Manor. Today I'm doing a new type of video which I may go ahead and do every month, and that's going to be new games to me for this month. And this is for the month of August, games that were new to me. Before I get into that, some basic stats for the month of August. It was a pretty big board gaming month for me. I had 91 gameplays over 28 different games, and 12 of those games were new to me in the month of August. I'm going to go ahead and do those in list of most plays down to least plays, and I'm going to give a little bit of a first impressions kind of review. I haven't played most of these games enough to really give a full review anyway, and so don't take this as a final review. I'll even give kind of my tentative rating of the games for the amount of plays that I've played so far. Again, that's very tentative, as I haven't played most of these games enough to really solidify my rating there. Let's go ahead and get into the very first one, and that is going to be Miss over Carcassonne. And we had 18 plays of Miss over Carcassonne in the month of August. Now, this is a cooperative version of Carcassonne, where you are working together to score a certain amount of points to break that threshold and win the game. And when you're scoring points for various things that you do in the game, you have a choice of whether you want to score those points or use those points to get rid of ghosts. And so there's this constant conflict back and forth throughout the game of trying to decide, okay, how are we going to score this? Are we going to do it for points? We need to get rid of the ghosts. Also, when you're placing tiles, you get to place one less if you place it next to a miss. And so you may want to decide to place a tile where it may be less advantageous for points right now, just to deal with the ghost that you're going to be putting out. Also, if you close up a missed area, you get to get rid of all the ghosts in that area. You got other things that are going to come out that are going to make it even harder in those higher levels. And so it's got this great puzzly nature of working out how you can get to the end game goal, but without getting too many ghosts on the board at any given time and losing that way. So really enjoy this game. Like I said, we played it 18 times, so it's gotten to the table a lot. There are 6 different levels of difficulty. We've now finally won on level 5 difficulty, and we're going to be trying level 6 soon. The easier ones, of course, we were able to breeze through, but level 5 took us 4 or 5 plays before we could beat it. And so definitely recommend this. If you enjoy Carcassonne and like to try a cooperative version of that, it's got kind of that almost a pandemic-y kind of fire putting out feel as well to it. So if you like those types of games, this might just be a game that you enjoy. Miss over Carcassonne. Now, my second game on this list is Sushi Go Spin Some for Dim Sum. And this is a take on, of course, Sushi Go, the popular card drafting game by Phil Walker Harding. This one is not made by him. And honestly, well, we got 8 plays out of it so far. One of my daughters just really loves this game. It's cute. You've got this little, go ahead and open this up real quick and show you. You've got this cute little dim sum here. And so you get to get this if you get basically what's the equivalent of dessert. I made a mess of this when I tipped it up, but you've got this lazy Susan that things are going to sit into. And so it's got kind of a cool kind of component features to it. But does the game play as well as Sushi Go Party? No, it does not. I go ahead and rate this one a 6 out of 10, whereas Sushi Go Party, I think I rate somewhere like a 9 or so. This game falls a little flat for me. It's got a lot of luck base to it as far as what's going to wind up close enough to you on your turn that you can actually even get, because things kind of come out very randomly. When you're doing Sushi Go Party, you at least have this kind of deck in your hand that you can look at, and you know some of those are going to come back to you. And so the luck is a little bit less as you go through the game. This one kind of completely are relying on what may or may not come up, and you have no clue throughout the game. It does play very fast, though. It takes like 10 minutes to play this game, so you can get several of them in. It's just not the one I'd go to out of Sushi Go Party and this one. And so I rate it a 6 out of 10, and I'm pretty sure that's about where I'm going to fall on this one. Okay, the next game on my list is Hadrian's Wall, which is a flip and write game. I had 5 playthroughs in the month of August, and this is a pretty heavy flip and write game. You've got 2 whole sheets of actions that you can take, and it's very combo-tastic. As you do this action, it leads to you getting this meeple or crossing off this or different things like that. And so you can very quickly start comboing things together on your turns as you get further into the game. and you're going to get some more resource production as you go to certain things at the beginning of each round. You're going to get that. And so I just really enjoy this game for all that it has to offer. It's fairly simple once you learn it, but it can be very intimidating to get in there and see all the options you have and what everything does. But it's once you get the gist of it, it's very easy to remember what everything does, and there's iconography on there that's pretty simple to understand. Oh, this icon means you get this meeple, this icon means you cross this off, and so very simple to figure out once you've done that. Of course, it's not very simple to win, get a good score, and so because there's so many different paths that you can take, some that are better than others, some that may be better than others depending on what path cards came up or different things that are going to happen, different resources that you are able to get from the income card, as well as your own card. You have to choose each time between which one's going to be your path card for bonus points in the game, which one's going to give you resources and other opportunities as well. Very fun game. I've played this one only solo so far, and there is actually a solo campaign which I highly recommend checking out after your first several games, because of the fact that it basically forces you to go different directions, and so you can't just take the same strategy every time. It'll have a goal that you have to complete and a secondary goal that will give you a bonus for the next campaign game. And so it's a lot of fun. I won the first one, but I've lost the second one. I haven't played yet again. Barely won the first one, so it's very difficult. And of course, there's also a way that you can adjust difficulty both in the base game as well as in the campaign by choosing whether you're going to do easy, medium, or difficult, which is how many different attack cards are going to come out at the end of each round. That kind of ramps up. And if you're not able to defend all those attacks, you get disdain, which leads to negative points at the end of the game. And so it's just got a lot to it. Really enjoy Hadrian's Wall. Highly, highly recommend. So my next game is going to be one that I've been previewing for Kickstarter, and that is Rogue Angels. In the month of August, I got 3 playthroughs of this game, and now I've done an additional 4 playthroughs, and so that's up to 7 at this point. And so this is a sci-fi campaign game where you are going to be taking out different enemies, fighting them on this board, trying to accomplish different objectives. There are going to be over 80 missions for you to play on this game when it's all said and done. And each mission feels very different so far that we've played. One, you're just basically going in there and it's kind of a tutorial mission. You're learning the ropes. You're fighting a few enemies off, trying to kill enemies for the end game of that one. Then you got another one where you're mainly kind of sneaking around, trying to do things without being detected. You got another one where you have one person sneaking around while another person's running interference. And I have that game up on my, as well as a tutorial one up on my channel. You can check those out, see how those play. It's a lot of fun. Each mission feels like it's going to be so unique from the last one. You have 16 different characters to choose from, all of them with different cards that are going to give them different abilities, as well as a different ongoing ability that they can use each game. And so there's just a lot going on in this game. As far as campaign games where you are fighting people on a board, this is one of the easier ones to get into, but that whole genre is one that's a little bit harder to grasp all the rules. You've got a lot of different things going on, so keep that in mind if you're not used to this kind of game. But this could be a good entry into that style of game. It's got an easy setup. You're just putting down this map and putting down certain tokens that are supposed to be on the map and enemies, and then you are basically playing that mission out, and it breaks up into multiple segments. You have a certain amount of turns in order to get things accomplished. And so I really have enjoyed Rogue Angels. Okay, my next game is Three Sisters, and this is a roll and write game. I have had 3 plays as well of this one in the month of August. And this game, you are building up a farm. You're planting pumpkins and corn and beans. Basically, it's another one of those combo type games where you can get certain things going where this will allow you to do that, which will allow you to do that. And so that's really awesome. I mean, you're basically just taking 2 actions on your turn. You're planting each turn based on the die number, and you're doing action based on the rondelle that you're on. Fulfilling one thing can trigger another and another and another, and so it can be very awesome. Even though you only did 2 actions, you may wind up doing several different things on your turn. And so it gets very satisfying as you're like, well, this leads to that, this leads to that, this leads to that, and all of a sudden you've done like a whole bunch of stuff, had a very effective turn. There's different things that you can focus on. There are shed actions that give you bonus points at the end of the game, as well as some ongoing special abilities depending on different things. Some of them are related to scoring points. Some of them are related to being able to water or plant more, and just different things that are going on there. And so really enjoy this game. I really want to play this game a lot more. I've played it solo as well as multiplayer, and the solo game as well is a lot of fun. You've got kind of this Edith character that's getting in your way, crossing off things off of your board. So you're not really competing in that sense, but you are trying to get things accomplished before she does things to you, and you're kind of deciding whether you want to take a die based on what you want or trying to stop her from doing something that's going to negatively affect you. And so there's a lot of good decision space there in this game between Edith in the solo mode, as well as just in general the board, the sheet that you're writing stuff down on. So I really enjoy Three Sisters. Great roll and write game. Okay, the next game on my list is Spirits of the Wild, which is a 2-player only game. This game is out of print, unfortunately, which means either you're going to pay a lot of money used to be able to get your hands on this game, or if you're lucky enough, you'll find somebody selling it for a decent price, which is what happened in my case. Now, I had 3 plays of this game in the month of August, and so we haven't really played it a whole bunch, but I've already really enjoyed it. It's one that I'm going to be coming back to quite a bit to play 2-player. It doesn't take a lot of time to play. You can play in about 20 to 30 minutes easily, and it's a kind of a strategical kind of game. You are putting these little stones into this dish, and then you are able to select stones out of that dish and put them onto your board to score various different types of sets, whether it be a set of 2, a set of 3, all of the same color. You get kind of exponentially better the more you get. Different colors, which give you kind of exponential points the more you get of those. Then you can get these special translucent stones, which are going to double the score for that section, but also you're going to be locking off that section, so you can't add any more stones after the fact. And so you may want to decide not to put one yet there, or you may want to grab it up so the other opponent doesn't get it and lock off one of yours that you've got a decent amount already so far. Kind of adds a little kind of element there. And when 5 of those translucent stones come out, it triggers the end of the game. And so you kind of, and there's some ways you can put them back in, but as you start seeing more of those come out, you might want to be like, I need to get my scoring in quickly just in case the game ends soon, because you just never know when that 5th one's going to come out. There may even be 2 of them come out on a turn. It goes from 3 to 5, and that's the last turn of the game. And so there's a bit of a luck involved as far as when that happens and what comes out when, but there's a lot of strategy involved as to which ones you're going to go after. You also have this coyote, which you put on the other player's board to stop them from being able to do anything until they move that coyote. And so sometimes you get in this back and forth of moving the coyote back and forth between each other. But there's only 2 ways you can do that, and that's using both of your gather 1 stone cards, or you have a special thing where you put 3 stones into the cup, the bowl, and you don't do any other actions other than move the coyote. And so you're kind of giving your opponent 3 stones to look at in addition to what was already in there and a chance to go, just for you moving the coyote. And so there's a lot of good decision space in there. And you got cards that you have a certain amount of actions that you can do, and you both have the same actions that you're going to be taking. It's just what order you're taking them in. And when you've done at least 3 of those actions, you can decide to flip them all back over and do a spirit card and do a special ability. And so when you do that, is also kind of a decision space, whether you try and get more of your action cards played before you do that. And so it's really kind of an interesting dynamic there in this game. Really enjoy it. A great kind of 2-player strategical back and forth type game. Okay, the next game on my list, I had 3 plays of this as well in the month of August, and that is Onirim. Onirim is a solo or 2-player cooperative game where you are laying down cards that represent these different rooms in a dungeon, and you're getting these symbols from the top of the card that will allow you to be able to unlock the rooms of the same color. And you can't place 2 of the same symbols back to back. And you've also got this key card, which will allow you to automatically open a door if it comes up into your hand while you have that key card of that same color in your hand. And there's just other different ways that you can be able to get these doors unlocked. There's nightmare cards that are going to get in your way and try to eliminate cards from the deck. If you run out of cards in the deck before you are able to find all 8 doors and unlock them, then you are going to lose the game. So it's got this kind of puzzly nature to it, but a lot of luck as to what comes up when and if you're going to be able to play it. In a 2-player game, you also have this kind of extra little market of cards. Well, 2 cards that either of y'all can use at any time. You can switch out for the cards that are in there as well when you take the key action. Also, it's kind of interesting is if you discard a key, which is one of the more important ones for being able to score doors really easily. If you decide to discard one, you can also use that to go ahead and look at the top top 5 of the cards of the deck, discard one, and put the others in whatever order you want to put them in. So that's very powerful as well, because you can get the exact cards you need that way, and you can eliminate maybe a nightmare card, or if 2 of them are there, you can kind of eliminate one of them and put one deeper down into the deck. And so it's really kind of powerful that way, or you may want to hold on to it, not only for the fact that you can play it as a symbol, but because if that same color door comes up, you automatically go through the deck and unlock that door. That's really kind of cool. So Onirim, interesting little game. Tentatively, I'm rating it a 7 right now. May go up, may go down. It's more basic than a lot of other games that I play. But at the same time, it's a quick game, and for when you don't have time to, or don't have the mental energy to do a big game, it's gonna be a good one to play solo or cooperatively at 2 players. So the next game on my list is the Castles of Burgundy, and I have the special edition here. And this game is a lot of fun. We played it 2 times in the month of August, and I played it a few times solo since then. I've played both solo modes that come with this game, and they are great as well. Really enjoy this game. I'm rating it somewhere between a 9 and a 10. This game is going to quickly become one of my favorite games, I can tell. And the Deluxeified edition here is awesome to have. It's got a great table presence. Basically, you are trying to score points by getting these different tiles into your duchy. And the tiles have different abilities. Some of them give you other tiles when you play them. Some of them allow you to play extra tiles in. Some give you money. Some allow you to sell goods. Some give you in-game victory points. Some give you current victory points. Some give you a special ongoing ability that you can use throughout the rest of the game. So much variety of things that you can do. And basically, you have to use the dice that you roll. 1 die at a time, you are going to take an action that's related to the number that's on that die. There's different depots that you can grab from that have a number associated with them. You can use workers to kind of adjust that number up or down so that you can get something from maybe a different depot if you need it. But you have to take a special action to be able to get workers later on. So kind of, you want to waste a die to be able to do that, waste a whole turn to get workers later on, or take what you're given. There's a little bit of a kind of decision space that you have there. So you use a die to get one into your key space, and then you use another die to be able to place it from your key space into your duchy to get the effect there of that tile. And when you fill a region up, which is all the ones of the same color connected together, you go ahead and you score that area. When you get all one color on the board fill out, you get a bonus for being the first one to do that or the second one to do that. And so there's just a lot of different ways that you score points in this game. And of course, the big thing is, of course, getting those tiles down in and trying to figure out how to best do that. You're selling goods to get points as well as money for doing that. Just lots of great things that go on in this game. Love this game very much from the first few plays that we've had of it. Next one, I don't have the box with me, is Diceboard. And we played it 3 times in the month of August. It's a game that one of my daughters really loves and plays with us as well. And in it, you are going to be having these special dice that have changeable sides on them. And you're going to be upgrading your dice throughout the game and trying to score points throughout the game. Sometimes when you roll, you'll get victory points from your dice. If you go after those sides as well, you start with one that has 2 victory points on it as well. You get resource from the rolling of your dice, which allow you to buy these cards that give you victory points, as well as other special abilities, either when you buy the card or as an ongoing thing. 2 different options for several of the spaces that are going to give you kind of a variability there. We've just really enjoyed it. There's some luck to the game, of course, because you're rolling dice, but you kind of take what you're given and it gives you different strategies that you wind up chasing after based on what you are able to roll. And then you start upgrading your dice, and you can try different strategies each time as to how you want to upgrade your dice, or whether you want to focus a little bit more on upgrading your dice, or you want to focus more on getting some of the other cards. And so a lot of great decision space within the game. Really enjoy it. Diceboard. Okay, the next game on my list is Don't Go In There. We played this a total of 2 times in the month of August. It's a very simple game. You are basically going to have these different rooms, and you're going to place your meeple down in a room. And when 3 meeples have been placed in that room, and you can have multiples in the room if you chose to go there and others didn't, you're going to resolve that room, and those who place their meeples further away, lower down on the card, are going to get less ghosts when you roll the ghost die, at least potentially less ghosts. And then the ones that are closer are going to likely get more ghosts, but they get first choice of the cards that are going to be gotten from that room. And the cards are negative cards. They give you points which are not good. And they also they'll have abilities sometimes to cancel each other out, to cancel other cards out. And so you'll want to grab them for their abilities. Sometimes they give ghosts to other players. Sometimes they allow you to get rid of ghosts. And so there's different abilities that are going to trigger on those cards. And so you have to decide, am I going to place closer to the top to be able to get my pick of card, or am I going to place further away to potentially get less ghosts? Because at the end of the game, whoever has the most ghosts is going to score 1 point for every 2 ghosts, which again, points aren't good. You want to have the lowest amount of points in this game. And so you got that push and pull between, am I going to risk taking more ghosts, or am I going to risk getting a card that doesn't work as well for me to get rid of points, or maybe it has a higher level of points on it that others are going to avoid. So there's a good push and pull there between what you want to do. And there's 6 different rooms. You're going to flip the rooms after you've played 3 of them, and they have different abilities on each of the rooms. And so there's a good bit of different things going on throughout your games there. Because each game is going to have somewhat of a similarity feel to those rooms, because you're going to play all 6 rooms. There's going to be different which ones are set up at the time. And you're also going to have different cards. You only play with a certain amount of types of cards, and you choose those at the beginning of the game. I found some of those work better together than others in just our 2 playthroughs. Our first playthrough, things went a lot smoother than our second playthrough, where we had a lot of cards that were like, I don't want any of these cards. They don't really work too well with one another. They kind of conflict, and so you're going to have some randomness there. They're going to make for a very, very different type of game depending on which cards are put together. So that is Don't Go In There. I rate it tentatively at a 7 right now. Okay, so the next game on my list I also don't have in front of me. It's Raiders of Cythia, and this is a game that we played one time at a local convention recently, and I've already ordered it. That's how much I enjoyed it. I'm going to go ahead and right out there and say I'm going to rate it an 8 so far, tentatively, may go up or down, as only one play isn't enough to really rate a game and it be solidified. But it's a worker placement game. It has an interesting worker placement mechanic where you are placing out your worker, taking the action of that space, and then you're collecting another worker that's already out there back to take the action of that section. And then when you have enough resources, you're going to try and raid various areas to be able to get victory points from those areas as well as resources. You've also got this crew that you are getting in. Some of them give you victory points, some of them give you abilities, and they all give you strength, or at least most of them do. Some are 0 strength. You need a certain amount of crew as well to be able to go to different areas. And so there's a lot of cool stuff going on in this game. You've got these hawks that can give you some benefits, as well as these horses that give you benefits. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on in Raiders of Cythia. And the final one on my list is Furnace. And this is another one we played at that game convention, so I only have 1 play so far. Already ordered this one. I rated an 8 out of 10. And it's a very interesting kind of engine builder type game where you are going to be bidding on these different cards in this market by putting 1 through 4 token on there. And whoever gets the highest token on there goes ahead and gets that card. But whoever had the lower numbers on there are going to get to take the action associated with that card, and the immediate action. And so you may even want to not win a card because you just want to take that action. But an additional thing, though, is you get to take the action multiple times if you played a 2 or a 3 and the 4 won it, because you're going to do it either 1 time, 2 times, or 3 times, depending on the number that you placed on there. So you may try to put a 2 or 3 because you want to take the action twice, but you hope that somebody else is going to bid higher than you on that card. And if they don't, then you wind up with the card, which isn't bad either, but you may just prefer the action. Or if somebody's already put a high number on there, you can place one of your lower ones on there, guaranteeing that you're going to get that action. So it's got this good kind of push and pull between what you're doing in the bidding, and then all of the cards that you have between the previous rounds and that current round, at the end of the round, you're going to line up in whatever order you want to, and then you are going to activate them one by one, left to right. You have to fully activate each one as you go along, And so you might want to line up the ones that are going to give you resources first, and then the ones that are going to have you spending those resources to get victory points later on. There's ways that you can upgrade those cards to make them even more powerful. And so it's just a really cool little kind of engine builder game. It's 4 rounds. You can play it in under an hour. A lot of fun. I'm going to highly recommend this game. It's tentatively an 8 right now out of 10, but I even think it might go higher than that. But I'm kind of giving it a realistic kind of 8 right now to see where I feel on after I played it a few more times. So that's the games that I've played in August for the first time. I want to give a quick mention to a couple games I played in July. Since this is the first time doing this video, there's only 2 that I played for the first time in July, and that is Race to the Raft. And we've had 15 plays of that between July and August. I've really enjoyed that game. I'm rating it about an 8.5 right now out of 10. I don't enjoy it as much as the original Isle of Cats game, but I'm enjoying the puzzle and the cooperative nature of the game a lot. My wife and I like to play a lot of cooperative games together, and we've been enjoying Race to the Raft. It has a lot of different scenarios, and it's going to keep us busy for a long time because of how many scenarios there are. And the other one that was new to me in July, I had sitting on my shelf of opportunity for a long time, finally got it off, is Assassin's Creed Brotherhood of Venice. Tentatively rating that a 7 out of 10 right now. We've had 3 plays from when we started playing it in July. And so it's a game, it's a campaign type game. It's similar to the video game Assassin's Creed, but you are, of course, playing on a board, and it's very interesting. You're trying to sneak around to be able to accomplish different objectives. And once you alert guards, either because they come upon you and catch you, or you start attacking one of them, it's going to be it's going to be very hard to accomplish the rest of the mission at that point. Just like in Assassin's Creed, you kind of want to do things stealthily. Just like in the video game, should I say, you want to do things stealthily. And so it's been fun so far. We need to get to the table more often, but that's the case with a lot of our campaign games. We have so many campaigns that we're working through right now. So these are the new to me games in the month of August, as well as a couple of them from July. I intend to keep doing these videos, maybe once a month. Maybe I'll do a couple months at a time, depending on how many new to me games I've had, maybe even. And so be looking forward to those videos in the future. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know some of what you think of some of these games. Maybe let me know some of the games that are new to you this last month, and I'll catch you in the next video.